Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto failed his Genin test and was given intense training. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Justin sealed inside of him over on Anime King 3. And I enjoyed that guys, and stay tuned for a new episode over on Anime King 2. And yes, if you're new, I have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, they were in the first phase of the exam. As Ibiki, he was finally given the option to use, well, the lethal, terrifying method. So he did, at his best disposal. Everyone was shocked when the first ninja that got caught was killed, as they couldn't believe it, so they could die here. Well, they indeed had signed the form. Everyone watched as ninjas after ninjas were slaughtered. Unknown to them, Ibiki was switching out ninjas from Konoha. No Konoha ninjas were slaughtered in the beginning, as it was just an act to cover them out to see who is meant to be Chunin and who is not. As the time passed, more ninjas died. Some of them did die though, as they took out some of the competition from the other nations. And many more died. When they finally passed the exam, as they were able to stick it out, Sakura was still a bit shaken as blood was still on her shoulder from when the ninja beside her got his head split open. With that, they made their way towards the second round, as Ame had spoken up and Anko had pierced a kunai right through the girl's skull. Another form of intimidation, as Shikamaru and the others were shocked as they couldn't believe what they just saw. But it was nothing but a trick. As with that, they made their way to the forest of death. Orochimaru was here. Harrison had everything set up perfectly, as all of his ninjas were out there scouting. As everything was going wonderfully so far, Harrison was sure that he would finally get Orochimaru and defeat him. The grass was helping them as well, as Naruto met a girl, her name was Karin Uzumaki, as his name was Uzumaki as well, so they were probably distant cousin or something. Well, she said that was probably a long time ago. Maybe they could start on rebuilding the Uzumaki clan. That pissed Sakura off for some reason, as she didn't like this girl one bit. Ami and the others were hidden, as they were kept away. They were brought here by some ninjas in white masks. As the barrier then opened, as they felt someone with enormous amount of chakra entered. It was none other than Snake Stallion himself. Orochimaru created clones as he sent them all over. Many things were happening at once. Naruto and his team got attacked by the Kira team, the one that had killed Ino, as Naruto went ferocious. Sakura watched as Naruto tore them apart with his teeth, as she was visibly shaking as she watched him rip and tore. She was afraid. Her entire body was shaking. Was she afraid of Naruto? As she didn't know what to... She was just too... She snapped herself out of it as she asked if he could still walk, as they had to get out of here. They had let the girl go because they were able to calm Naruto down, as the girl had sped up out of there. But the others weren't so lucky as Naruto had ripped them apart. But none of them knew what Orochimaru was exactly planning, as Kabuto made his way towards the room where Sasuke was sleeping. As he finally reached up with the Uchiha, it's time that they have a little chat. After all, Orochimaru was a smart man. Did Hiruzen really thought that he had everything covered? No, he did not. So yeah guys, that was basically last we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Sakura lowered herself into the crevice of rock as she grasped onto the hem of the scroll, as Naruto was holding onto her by her thighs. As she grabbed the scroll, she gave him the signal as they pulled her out as they got the last scroll that they need to pass. Sai gave one last look around the area before finally coming close to his two teammates. No opposition, he said. The Hyugas must have found the other scrolls, as he calmly recalled the ink mice that were surrounding them as the ink rolled into his ink pot. He then started to paint once more. He can safely assume as he displayed the map of the training ground, drawn as they went, that the scrolls were placed in a circular pattern around the tower, 5 making a pentagram of the outer rings, and 5 closer. Sakura nodded as her eyes started to scan the painting. We should find a safe place to hide. What's the range of the Hyuga eyes anyway? Konoha's secrets, I said. We might be in range of their eyes for all we know. Having 3 scrolls, they're gonna come after us, said Sakura, as she bit her lower lip. That is if they have a Hyuga to find out. As Naruto twitched a bit, Sigma 3, he said, as they split apart. The era where they were got impaled as pointed rocks jetted from the ground. 3 kunais flew in the air right in front of their direction and detonated as they had explosive tags on them. Dodging to the side, Team 13 found themselves blocked by a hive of buzzing bees and bugs. The monstrous swarm fell upon them in an instant. Sakura pulled out 2 explosive tags from the pile that her sensei gave her and threw them. They exploded, confusing the vermin long enough for Sai to paint on his parchment as he released an ink wave that drowned the incoming insects. Naruto's arm came up as he deflected 5 incoming poison needles. As he moved, 5 more came as he brought out his hand as he stuck into his flesh. He did not scream as he moved forward, as Naruto twists as his chakra blade slammed against a tanto from the enemy from the stone. The kunoichi had short, black hair, pupilless eyes. She had a rather cocky smirk on her face that Naruto was gonna wipe off. As she pushed with a surprising amount of strength. You're no match for us, Konoha ninja, she said. Or the hell? How could a girl have such monstrous strength to begin with? Surrender your scroll, and we won't have to kill you. You and what army? Sakura said, as she threw her kunai and stabbed into a tree, forcing the other to jump out. You can't hide in a forest, Stone Ninja. Can I fight them, Kurosuke? Can I? A jovial voice said as a fat, looking shinobi rushed over. He was like a happy puppy as he spoke. This brat is mine. Take care of the other 2, Akitsuki. We should retreat, Kurosuke-sama. The shinobi that Sakura had flushed out spoke. It isn't wise, he added. He's like Han. The glasses wearing shinobi looked towards Naruto. My bees, they can feel it. That's creepy, the girl bantered back. But I want to fight him, Hibachi. I know I can take Han most days. He lets you win, Kurosuke-sama, Hibachi said. Naruto used their talking to leap back, as him and his team regrouped their back together. Kunai in hand, weapons as well. Can I fight them already, the fat boy said. We already killed 2 teams, Sakura said. Don't force our hand to add you to our tally count. Oh, the Konoha girl liked pillow talk, Kurosuke said that grin. You really think you can take us on? She spat on the ground near to her. I would like to see you try. I'm the granddaughter of Tishikage. You know what that means? I have all the techniques of the hidden stone I can wish for. I have all the knowledge and secrets. I'm in line to become the next one after my father. And you. You no name shinobi. Maybe you're even a civilian kunoichi. One of those who end up pouring themselves out in second-rate missions in enemy shinobi beds. Sakura clenched her fist. You. Say that to my face, you hidden stone scum. I can attack and kill all 3 of you with ease, said Kurosuke. And you know why? Because there's Konoha, Jonins, and envoys around us, who would stop you from killing me. You know why? Because it would be a diplomatic blunder if the granddaughter of Tishikage was to die in the Konoha hosting exams. One that can jumpstart a war. There was silence as the declaration sank in. There are Jonins watching us? As Sakura looked around in disbelief. Of course, Kurosuke said the rule of her eyes. You're clearly a civilian if you don't know this. So let me explain. She raised her hand as she pointed at a patch of trees a bit away from them. Chunin exams are publicly hosted. Promising Genins are shown entering the arena and are broadcasted fighting all across our country. How difficult do you think it would be for an enemy village to obtain the footage of that? How difficult to analyze fighting styles, learn weakness and exploit them? And really, promoting a mere 1 to 10 Genins to Chunins from the starting pool of 150 or more. She shook her head. You see, the exams are a public display of bloodline strength or shinobi strength. Practically any sensible shinobi know what the Byakugan can do. See through solid matter and see points in her body. So watching Hyuga fight with a Genin toned down style, nice, flashy and complete, because it's safe from exploitation. But there are still some idiots out there that die. A lot of idiots end up getting themselves killed because they're too stupid. Can't go off anywhere without your babysitter. Like Hibachi here, she said. Hibachi grind his teeth but he remained quiet. So the hosting team make deals with other villages. Things like, hand us a few missions and we will make sure that your village team survives. Or keep our shinobi safe and we will make sure that you get some information for research or something like that. Sometimes they just exchange Ryus on the table too. A bloodline wielding shinobi who dies in another village will have his corpse used and tested down to the last grime of information after all. Do you know if it's still fresh they can get the baby matter from the body and fertilize kunoichis to get new bloodline wielders in their village. Sometimes they do this for a few generations to get the best they can, but sometimes it requires inbreeding to get everything right. Well, my big brother Deidara is a perfect example of that, she said. So you see, you're worthless pawns. You, the civilian girl, you will probably end up as an administration chonin, or somewhere where you'll be forgotten, where you might have to open your legs to survive. And you, pale-skinned boy, you'll be sent to some faraway outpost to watch clouds go by as the rest of your life just drain away. Well, not if you die. And you, she said, as she looked towards Naruto, you will be dehumanized. They will break you to the point where you will be no better than a dog on a leash. They will tie you down with chains until you can no longer even remember your name. And finally, they will give you a new one. They will publicly call you the hero of Konoha, but in private behind the locked doors of your cell, you will be nothing but their weapon. She clapped her hand, just like the Fotokage, that murdering slaughter that your country exiled, to the point of bordering insanity. I mean, really, isn't he just an over-glorified bringer of carnage and death? As she looked towards them, Naruto turned his back. She blinked. You're giving me your back? Overconfident much, are we? No. You said yourself the exam isn't nothing but a scam. I'm the Kyuubi jinchuriki. As he turned towards her with a glare. I'm sure no one wants me to die. I'm sure Konoha wants me more alive than they want you alive. If we were to fight to the death, you know who they will let survive out of the both of us, don't you? She gritted her teeth. You coward. Touch my team, and I'll come for your entire village. And the Ninetales beat everything out of everything else. Go find somewhere else to get your scrolls, said Naruto. Kurosuke-sama, said Hibachi. We should leave. She started to shake from utter rage before she paused, as a smirk came to her face. The next second, Quicklime erupted from the ground, as Quicklime went straight up to Team 13's neck before they could even react, freezing them in place. The Kurosuke that they were talking to break away into dirt and ash, as a real one came from the ground. She thrust her hand into the Quicklime. Sakura was surprised because she couldn't move that this girl could freely move her hand around the lime. As she reached and pulled the 3 scrolls out, she tossed 2 of them to her teammates. You know, Kurosuke said, you should never let the enemy talk and buy time. She winked as she walked around Naruto himself. As you see, we're not going to kill your teammates, are you? As she brought her mouth extremely close to his right ear. You were kind of cute trying to act all tough moments ago. I like strong man. With a teasing smirk, she then kissed him right on the lips. See you soon, she said, a wink, as she and her team flicker away. As Naruto stood there, trying to recall how soft those he was trying to get out of here, but her lips were so soft. Not that he had any experience, but they were so soft and gentle. Bitch, 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 bitch. As the repeating call of bitch could be heard, as Naruto could actually see Sakura here rise. Bitch, bitch, bitch. Sakura here was raising as her eyes were burning with rage. Who the hell did she think she was? That harlot, that daughter of a Cherix, I said. Seduction is a part of a kunoichi arsenal, should they wish for it. That had to be experienced, Sakura said in a strangely calm tone. She clearly has experience screwing other shinobi. There's no other explanation. The lime had dried, and once it was dry enough, it was easy to break. As Sakura raged, the tension of her muscles were able to break right through it. As Naruto was the second, followed by Sai, they got to her scroll, said Naruto. If we consider that Hyuga to have the others, then that means Nicholas. There's one still free scroll around, and we can always have the Sai thanks. As Naruto hand threw a volley of shurikens at a rustling bush. Hey! Karin, said Naruto, as the girl came out of the bush, as 2 of the shuriken had struck her in the arm. Is that how you treat family in Konoha? She said, as her hair looked ragged. Her legs had scrape marks on them, and her arms as well. Her jacket was cinched and half torn, and she was alone. Sorry, said Naruto as he stepped closer. Stop, said Sakura. It could be a trap. I'm no longer inclined to participate, said Karin. My team was attacked last night. We stood no chance. As tears fill her eyes. They let me go, she said as she started to cry. As Sakura understood the implyment that was there, it made Sakura feel sick. Could they have? She moved closer. It's alright, no, she said, as she hugged the other girl. As Naruto stood there perplexed. But he glanced towards Sai, who nodded back at him. They can't hurt you anymore, Sakura said. We should try and survive through this, said Naruto. If we can link up with another team through Konoha, they're circling each other, said Karin. I'm a chakra sensor. The enemy attacked while I was sleeping, but she bit her lip. They're close to the tower. One team is made up of 11 shinobi. The other is made up of 9. If we remove the Hidden Stone team that we met, the Kirin and the Hidden Ring team that we killed, and your team too, as Naruto frowned at that, there's 3 teams on one side and 4 on the other. That makes... Wait, Sakura, was your Kira team the first exam that passed? Wait, of course they... She paused. No. Team 5, Team 8, Team 9, and Team 10 from Konoha Pass. 1 team from the Sand Pass. There was 1 team from the Hidden Rain, 1 team from Take, and 1 team from the Grass, and 1 team from the Sound, and 2 from the Hidden Stone. No Kira team passed the first test. So who did we kill last night, said Naruto. And how did they get in? Orochimaru breached them inside, Sai said calmly. Everyone was distracted on them. No one bothered to check the death toll with the number already dropping. So we're no longer 12th team in the forest, said Naruto. Damn it. Why aren't they stopping the exam then? Probably. Hokage orders, Sai said. He turned towards Karin. If you're a sensor, then where are the closest Jonins? There aren't, she said perplexed. I mean, I can sense something. 1 from the 11 team, but none in the rest of the forest. The tower, it's cramped with Jonin. Damn it, said Naruto. Orochimaru played him. He sent Genin level assassins, or maybe Chunin rank. You have to be careful. We need to link up with Shikamaru and the rest of them. They have to be warned for danger. If Shika is smart, which he is. He has knit his team, and both Team 5 and the Taki team, said Sakura. Which the other 9? They're made of Team 10, the Hidden Stone, and the Stone team that attack us. Then, what about the Sand? How are they fearing, said Naruto as he looked towards Karin. How is Shikamaru holding on? I don't know, she said. It's really chakra intensive, and I can only do small pulses with it. At most of the time. We're going there, she asks. The 3 of them look at each other as they nodded. We have to. Karin bit her lip as she nodded her head. Fine. Please don't leave me behind, she said. The last part she pleaded to Naruto, who seemed surprised and shocked. Those crimson eyes were looking at him through tears. Expect him to be some sort of savior. He nodded once as he schooled his features. We proceed in formation, eat a ration and move out. We need the energy. Meanwhile, Shikamaru was having a really bad day. It had started with Ami's death. A freezing night spent in one of the trees with Choji, who snored like a bear. And then a wake-up call to Team 8 who wanted his brain smarts. The fact that the idea came from Kiba perplexed him. Since when did Kiba have a brain? In any event, they had soon joined forces with Team 5, a group of no-name 20-something years old Genins. Genin was 22 years old and had failed so many Chunin exams. Komushiki was 23 and Ineo was his cousin of 22. They had failed so many exams they couldn't even count. They had this depressed mood around them, like they didn't believe they would survive through the night. The Taki team had joined them midway, Konoha team had a Hyuga, and they wanted to cooperate. The 2 from Taki was called Shibuki and Hoki, and the Kunoichi was called Ryuzetsu. Something was wrong with the way the girl walked, Shikamaru noticed. Something was just different about her. But the other 2 seemed to be normal. Something was just strange right there. As they were now, they were in a deadlock with Team 10 and their allies. Neji teams was using the trees as battle as they were using the cave, as they have been holding them here since the beginning. He didn't know the reason for such hostility, but he wasn't going to give up and let his shinobis be slaughtered under his command. From what he had gathered, Neji was allied with the Sand team and the Sound one. He only had 3 scrolls, and judging from Neji acting, he didn't have all of the scrolls neither. But Hinata said that he didn't have them on him, but Neji had a farther reach than her. That was good, to hide the scrolls somewhere where only a Hyuga could find them back. They made the other team cooperate. He didn't know where Team 13 was, or the 2 Stone team or the Rain team. At the moment, Hinata was applying a healing cream to Shino's shoulder. He had been sent out with his bugs for recon. He barely came back alive. Team 10 long-range specialist had a deadly, accurate rate. The moment you stepped outside, there was arrows, kunai, shurikens, and they were fast and quick. They're trying to push through again, Jenny said. As he grabbed hold of his kunai, him and his other 2 teammates moved off towards the contingency plan that they had created. Shikamaru watched from his position as the 3 of them faced off against a single San Genin with red hair. San was coming out from his gourd, Shikamaru noticed as the boy was levitating on a sand. He was levitating on a sand mat, avoiding all the explosion tags and everything that they had set up. As he deflected everything that came from Team 5, Shikamaru had a bad feeling. That feeling became worse when an arrow struck Genin right in the neck, as blood gushed out as the shinobi fell down to the ground. What the hell was Team 10 thinking? They were Konoha Genins. They weren't supposed to kill one another. As Shikamaru saw a fan, he watched as the San Kunoichi swing it. She decimated the entire area. All the traps, everything detonated at once. But the red hair boy was still there. Was she planning on killing him as well? Team 5, the two remaining members, got torn apart. As Shikamaru stood there shocked. They trusted him to do the right thing, and he lost the three of them, as their own traps that they had set up obliterated them, ripping their bodies apart. Shikamaru stood there shocked. They were just supposed to scout the enemy from behind the traps. They weren't supposed to die. Shikamaru looked at the others as he stood to his feet. "We surrender, Neji. State your terms before more are killed." "What?" Ryuzetsu said. "You can't be serious. You've gone from 11 to an 8 in an instant. And that boy, he's a normal," said Shikamaru. "You want to make her run with the scrolls by yourself, feel free. This isn't worth it." "We'll do just that," the Kunoichi said. "Hand over your scrolls. They're hidden in the back of this cave, beneath the fourth rock pillar to your right," said Shikamaru. "Leave if you can. I'm going outside." "Nara-san, going outside without protection is ill-advised. We don't know if they will stop attacking," says Shino. "We should try and terminate this sand competition of the enemy." "How? I don't know." Shikamaru sighed. "They aren't going to stop until they get what they want. It's the only way." He walked out with his hands above his head. "We would like to speak terms." "Smart boy," as the Kunoichi landed beside him, folding her giant fan, but she pulled out a smaller one. "Now, where are the scrolls?" Poof! The entire cave erupted with smoke as figures dashed out. "Shadow position jutsu complete," said Shikamaru. The girl found herself turning around with her hand on her giant fan. She was not controlling her body. She found herself opening up the fan. "No," she whispered. "You can't do," as she tore it apart. Her eyes went wide with rage. "That was a gift from my mother." "I'll make you pay," she said. "No one moved," said Shikamaru. But the red hair boy from the sand did not stop. "It won't work," said Temari. "Gaara is not gonna listen to..." But he stopped, surprising Temari. Gaara just stopped as he stood there in the middle of a clearing. The reason was clear as four shinobis appeared. Shikamaru released a sigh when he saw Naruto, Sakura, and Sai, with a fourth member that was probably from the grass. "Orochimaru of the Sun has invaded the exam test area," said Naruto. "He's a S-rank shinobi threat. Akira team has already infiltrated the area. We must stop fighting and head towards the tower as soon as possible." "Yeah, like hell," said Temari. Shikamaru started to sweat as Naruto was not a liar. "Those are lies," said Neji. "If you met with him, why are you still alive? Trying to get to the scrolls." "Oh, for the love of fight me," said Gaara, cutting off Naruto. "If you win, you'll have my scroll and prove your words. If I win, you and your teammates will die." Sand whipped around the sand shinobis, forming waves. As a platform that he was on started to rise up. "Fight me. Prove my existence with your blood." He screamed angrily. "Prove me your strength, Kyuubi Jinchuriki." As Naruto looked towards his teammates as Shikamaru watched, they shook their head no. But he gave them a small smile. Before he nodded, Sakura looked rather defeated as she just looked at Naruto. She hesitated as she seemed like she wanted to say something. The red-haired girl marched over and kissed Naruto right in the cheek. The red-haired boy was twitching as they were ignoring him. Sakura took a breath. Before she walked forward, she grabbed Naruto by the shirt and she kissed him right on the lips. As Rock Lee gawked at that, as Naruto stood there, she gave him a smile before they moved back into the bushes. As Naruto walked straight forward, "A real shinobi doesn't fight head-on," said Naruto as he moved his arm. "Danzo Sensei would kill me if he saw this." In the bowels of the root agent's location, Danzo watched the spear with a spike in anger. He looked toward Terzan, who was trying to get in contact with a team that was guarding over the Sand Jinchuriki. "Let me guess, no Anvus or Jonins answering the call. And Tenzo is not reachable," said Danzo. "They are sighting Orochimaru in the other areas. He's trying to reach the stone teams." "So," said Danzo, "either we let him kill Oniki's granddaughter and start a war, or we let the battle between the two Jinchurikis play out in the training ground for the forts too close to Konoha. Sound the alarms. Have the civilians head to the bunkers. I trust Naruto to keep the Kyuubi at check, but I do not trust the Sand Jinchuriki. He's unstable. Get Tenzo. We're going to have a battle between Jinchurikis at the doors of our village." Back towards the field, Gaara, He didn't know why he was always alone. People always hated him. They always cursed at him. They always whispered bad things around him. He could never sleep, because when he closed his eyes he heard a voice whisper in his ear. When his uncle had died, the voice told him that she was his mother. And he was not alone after that. But he just saw someone who was just like him, and he got a kiss on the cheek. And then one on the lips. People were talking to him. People were being friends with him. He had never been kissed, not even on the cheek. He was furious. How dare he had what he did not? He was pissed. Shukaku, said Naruto firmly. Are you in there? Mother doesn't want to talk to you. She wants to fight you. Shikaku, the Kyuubi snarled. Answer me. It was annoying before. But now, where are the others? That's not my name, said Gaara, as the sand around him started to swirl, as it started to pulse with blue lines. I am the Ichibai, the ruler of the desert. Shikaku, Krama whispered. What have they done to you? It was so small, the Ichibai said. So small and cold. It was a vase. Do you think a vase could be enough for me? I had to become small. Smaller and smaller, or the vase would crack, and the next would become tighter and more hurtful. It was maddening. Tell me, why did it have to be me? The voice sounded like a little child, a scared one, as he spoke. Why did I have to be brought to this maddening world? Why did I have to be the misery? Everyone can react, but I suffer alone. All can do, but I cry alone. I was left alone. But you never came to save me, big brother. No one came for me. I was left all alone in the base, crying. You never came to save me, big brother. Why? Shikaku, said Krama. Why have you not freed yourself? The seal of the boy is weak. I've lived in a cell for centuries, brother. As the voice was coming from Gaara's mouth, but it was not Gaara's. I am afraid if I leave this prison. What if the next one is tighter? What if the next one hurt even more? I understand, Krama said. So you want to fight, brother? I want to be free from my duties. Then as your older brother. As Naruto raised hands, he pulled out his tanto. Crimson red chakra surrounded the blade. I will free you from your duties. A literal firestorm surrounded Naruto. As he was in the mindscape, he watched as the rushing water got red and thick. It then started to bubble away as it started to steam up in the air. As the Kyuubi red eyes narrowed towards him. Is pain, said Naruto. I understand it. The Kyuubi narrowed his eyes. Then, open your eyes. Open your eyes, Naruto Uzumaki. Watch. My brother rules over the sands. He was maybe a sight of misery while free. But as long as he is kept, misery is kept control. He was a leech of the desert. He was a kindness in the midst of nothingness. He is the oasis that you can find in the middle of nowhere. He was the weakest, and yet, in the depths of misery, he always believed there's a chance to rise back up. Look at him now. As the fox spoke, Naruto had lashed out, breaking through the sand out in the real world, and grabbed onto Gaara's leg. Multiple sand spikes came up. He had to release a limb as he dodged each and every one of them. The sand shield is new, but not enough, Shikaku, said Krama. Stop saying that name, Gaara screamed with a voice that is mixed between him and the Ichibai. I am mother. I am Ichibai. I am not worthy of a name that means nothing anymore. As the sand started tightening around Gaara to form strange limbs on his body. Mother will feast on your blood. Shikamaru glanced towards Temari. She wouldn't be going anywhere as the shadow possession had failed. She was shaking in utter fear. It's free. It's free, she said. Naruto considered Hinata as she watched as the chakra itself was fighting. It was because of that neither she or her teammates saw the black snake slither close towards her ankle, venom dripping from its teeth. Neji said, Tenten, what does fate say about this? We're going to die, said Neji as he was frozen there in shock. It is fate will that demon will be fighting in front of us. Neji, we must provide help to our Konoha teammates. I wouldn't do that, the archer of the sound team said. Look at them. You would be torn to shreds. Demon like those monsters don't deserve to be helped. Shut the hell up, the female, Kunoichi said. I'm trying to listen to what they're trying to say. Shouldn't we prepare a barrier? The Hulkin, member of the team, asked. Fortunately, the other shitheads in the past. We'll have to wait and see the girls save the team. Damn, said Kankuro. If Gaara freed Ichibai in here now. Damn. As Sakura stood there, her hands clenched. All she could do was watch and saw the battle rage on. As Naruto moved, as a sand arm crushed into the ground where he was. As he threw a volley of kunais and shurikens, but the sand stopped them and threw them away with ease. That thing isn't supposed to be there, said Krama. Aisabu is the one that used techniques for a shield. Shikaku is always about widespread destruction. So what, said Naruto as two spears of sand came towards him. He had two tails behind him that moved and swat them away. We find the opening. We don't need an opening, said Krama. My strength can shatter mountains. The question is, how long can your body last? As my chakra worm its way into your deepest points and breaking them down with the violence of my chakra. You are cooperating at the present only out of a wimp. Don't expect me to help you with anything else. Just share the same goal at the moment, understood? Yeah, said Naruto. So can I have more power? I can give you all that you desire, Naruto. You just need to ask and be prepared for the consequences. As a wave of sand crashed, Naruto leaped up above it. As columns exploded out of the ground and they created hands. They grabbed onto his ankles and wrists and they started pulling him down. The sand was being burned by the red cloak and turned into glass, but more and more was taking its place, digging into Naruto's flesh. The scream that came from his throat, it was suffocating. The sand swallowed Naruto whole. Yes, said Karin in his half-transformed demonic form. His blood will be ours, mother. We will prove our existence with his death. Sakura was tying knot after knot of explosive attacks at the kunai that she was about to throw. She would exhaust her entire reserves, but Naruto wasn't going to die there if she could stop this. Her gaze went towards Sai, who was supposed to have venom the last time she checked. It would only take a drop to drop the sand. Shinobi. It was then she realized Sai was gone, as he left behind her in clone. He decided to use the distraction to get the scrolls. She needed poison. She turned Karin. She whispered in a hiss, "Do you have poison?" As the Kunoichi nodded, as she gave Sakura a vial with pink liquid inside. Sakura did not ask the dosage. She wanted the boy killed, not knocked out. She created a clone of herself in place and jumped back behind a tree. She had to be fast, Naruto's life depended on it. She didn't watch as she covered her mouth as sand wrapped around Naruto. Naruto could not lose. He was always smiling, he was always going through things, with a smile on his face until something happened. She hated whoever took that smile away from him. He had hated that she watched him close off in himself and become another her. His light, his shine, it disappeared. She thought that she could move closer to him and make him open up to her. She had been selfish though, and someone took her idea and made it her own. How dare Sakura Haruno took Naruto's first kiss. It was her job, her duty to make him smile and happy, but yet Sakura took his first kiss. She was always thinking about making Uchiha babies and being with Sasuke, but now she was focusing on Naruto. She had to wise up and realize Naruto's potential, and now she probably fall in love with him. No, she was probably just using him for her own selfish needs. She didn't have proof. And Naruto was smiling, he was blushing when she kissed him. And he looked happy. But how could she take that away from him? Even if it was not with her, he was happy. She couldn't take that away from him. Maybe if she had took her chance in the beginning. But no, and now she paid the price. Meanwhile, as Kiba's eyes were firmly fixed on the fight in front of him, Tenzo really hated his job. Being cramped up like this in his wood clone. He was tightly packed. As Tenzo was the one controlling Kiba, this was not the real Kiba, of course. After all, Shikamaru said to himself, when did Kiba become so smart? And he also had to make Akamaru bark every now and then. It was good that the boy always kept Akamaru on top of his head. Otherwise, animating Akamaru to run around freely would have been maddening. Still, with his chakra over the clone, he was safe. No one knew that it was him. As long as he didn't slip, as he had to watch a battle unfold in front of him. As the sand jinchuriki was given regards. That Konoha would put him down if he ever lost control and claimed the One Tails. Tenzo had to watch. His orders were clear. Avoid detection unless it was needed. And Naruto seemed to be in the full state of his mind. He hasn't lost himself yet. As he heard something, he turned as he squashed the snake that tried to bite his ankle. As a blow dart flew towards her neck. As his hand moved forward and stopped it. He was just about to say something when an arrow pierced right through the canopy of trees. Hinata had turned just in time because she saw Kiba extremely close to her and he was doing something behind her. As the arrow pierced right through her as she started to fall. Tenzo's eyes widened. What the hell? But his screams and Shino's screams calling out his name were filled with Gaara screaming, "Die! Die!" as Gaara clenched his fist. Meanwhile, as Naruto looked, the Kaibu was towering over him. What? Did I die? He asked. No. You asked for more power, did you not? Let it not be said that I was never cooperative. Now, take it. The explosion was massive, forcing everyone to leap back as Naruto exploded out of a sand cocoon. 4 tails sweeping behind him as nature was forcefully pulled away by Rock Lee and Tenten. As he realized what the meaning of outclass was. Meanwhile, Jiraiya felt it. The chakra that swallowed the forest as Naruto was going a bit too far. But he couldn't go towards it and stop it because Orochimaru was right in front of him with a sick smile. Is this your intention, Jiraiya said. To release the Kyuubi. No, Orochimaru said. My plan really. It was just a simple plan. Care to share? Asked Jiraiya. Jiraiya. You never saw the bigger picture, did you? It's neither working for you, Orkai. Has he betrayed the leaf? Asked Jiraiya. What if I say no and it's yes? What if I say yes and it's no? He cocked his head to the side. Or what if I say yes and she says no? Or what if I say no and she said yes? Will you trust my words, hers, or neither? You know your stupidity and your blindness are so disgusting to watch. You sicken me, Jiraiya. And again, you summon totally repulsive. As principled by things, aren't you not? Shouldn't slugs get the medal for being icky? Said Jiraiya, as he could not look around or even change his glance from Orochimaru. This one was a real one, not their clone. If he lost sight of the man for a second, then you will lose. The same was true for Orochimaru as well. Do you know that holding someone's heart is a way of getting loyalty in the fullest? What if you hold the souls of all their loved ones? Tell me, Jiraiya, what would you sacrifice in exchange for another moment with your loved ones? What the hell are you talking about? Said Jiraiya. You know they don't, Sensei, said Orochimaru. You must know of it. Sensei told you, didn't he? No, he didn't. What is that? A technique? You don't know? Orochimaru blinked. No, enlighten me, said Jiraiya. Go and ask Sensei. He told me. He asked me to research it, said Orochimaru. He asked me to perfect it. But then he tried to drive a kunai through my heart. Wonderful example of eternal love, isn't it? Lying. Sensei would never ask for results. Hours, days, weeks, months, nothing. Then he told me to stop. He told me couldn't he help. There wasn't a solution to the problem. You know what he had the nerve to do? He told me I messed up. I probably did wrong. He then told me that my tests on enemy shinobis were heartless. He told me to stop them immediately. He told me to take on another team, do a few missions elsewhere. And he took my lab. He told me it was over and I shouldn't be angry because things like that happen. Orochimaru unsheathed the Kusanagi. Let me tell you, Jiraiya, when you invest years of your life on a project and it is taken away, the expectation that you give towards other things, the results, the values, it seems less and less. You know, I once considered uncle like a daughter, but now only thing I see is a walking sack of flesh that I can experiment on. Tell me, Jiraiya, am I broken? Or was I broken? You're lying, Jiraiya said. Never seen the bigger picture and never will. That is why you disgust me, said Orochimaru. A stone sword! Jiraiya brought out the moat of the toad itself, as both of them clashed violently. Meanwhile, Naruto heard it, everything. He heard cries for help, pleas, calls, begging, despair. Go on, don't let me hold you back, the Kyuubi said, as he sat beside Naruto gently. Watch what your fellow man does to another, and then ask yourself, Naruto Uzumaki, is my work without purpose? Screams, they became hearable. Mom, where are you? Mom, Dad, help me. Please stop this. They're only children. No, it's not our fault. We never asked to be born in bloodlines. It hurts. Stop it. Help me. Mom, Dad, someone. It's dark in here. Someone. Mom, Dad, where are you? Amaru, don't walk my path. What are you talking about? Help me. Please, I didn't do this. I'm not the monster. I won't be bad. Please, I didn't do anything bad. Please let me out. The cries continue over and over. Screams, pain, misery. That is what Shukaku is composed of, said the Kyuubi. Misery. He could smile and laugh through all of this though. He had the strongest heart. So tell me, Naruto, is it worth it to fight for humanity? You know how many die of hunger, thirst, abandon, suffer alone? How many cry in the dark cells? Cast away to never see the light again. I didn't poison Naruto-kun. Please, I did not. Naruto's eyes widened. It wasn't me. Her sobbing voice could be heard. I didn't do it. Please, I'm sorry. I loved him like a brother. Please believe me. Where is she? Said Naruto. Nowhere, said the Kyuubi. Her despair, her thoughts are just added to Shukaku. Their thoughts, their despair, composed of his yang side. Why do you think I am not a whimpering, massive mess, even though my other half, the yang side, is sealed by the Shinigami? Wait, what? You don't know? Krama raised an eyebrow. Your Hokage thought the seal would not hold all of me, so he sealed away my yang half. He's lucky that I hold back a minimum of it. Or, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. You'd have been trying to survive. Me trying to tear you to pieces. In chakra, it's what makes us think. It's what defines us the world. Without it, we can't think. And without it, we destroy. We can't even remember why we have to destroy. So, was she innocent? Said Naruto. That depends, Krama said. In the deepest end of despair, she cried out her innocence. She pleaded. Either she's a really good liar, down to her soul, or her words are true, and she did not lie. Uncle, where are you? As Naruto turned his head, as he saw a young boy, it was Gaara, holding on to a teddy bear. Shukaku, where are you? Said Krama. You called me in here. We used to play hide and seek a lot, brother. A voice said in the darkness. As someone stepped forward, it was a simple child. He had golden hair with blue, stricken eyes. He had 2 earrings in his ears. He was wearing a simple robe. A robe that looked like the sun. And his skin was pale. You don't like playing anymore with me. It's not that, Shikaku, Krama whispered. What have they done to you? Do you remember? It was dark and cramped for a long time, brother. Then they tried to put me in people. But people cannot hold me for too long. The misery will seep through their mind at night. And they blame me. And I broke free. Part of me was severed each time. And I was lost. I couldn't recall what I was. What I was supposed to do. Was I Shikaku? Was I the Ichibai? Was I a weapon? Was I a Bichu? Was I a demon? Was I a brother? Were we demons back then with father? But why didn't he ever call us demons back then? I couldn't understand. They never answered me, said Shikaku. I tried to be good. I tried. Their seals were weak. I did my best, but the more pieces I lost when I break them. Every time they brought me back, I lost pieces, and I was afraid. Afraid of losing everything. I just wanted the end. I didn't want to hear the cries of the orphans, the cries of the widows. I just wanted all to go away. I know I'm selfish, but I can't do this anymore. I lost too many pieces. Why was I even fighting to begin with? I can't even remember what father told me. I don't have long anymore. Shikaku, Manatobi, Aisabu, Son Goku, Kyokyo, Saiken, Komi, Jackie, Krama. Even though you'll be separated, you shall always be together. Krama says he looked towards Shikaku. Even though your burden is great, even though my selfishness imposes on you, know that I will not entrust this to anyone else because I love you, my precious children, said Krama. Was that what gave me strength, said Shikaku. Krama lowered his head. Brother, are you sure? I'm sorry, but this warmth. I want to go right now while I still remember it. I don't want to lose anything else. Please. It's alright to be selfish once in a while, brother, said Krama. As he opened his mouth, tears in his eyes, Krama swallowed Shikaku with a single movement. As Krama roared, blowing Naruto away. When Naruto snapped back to reality, he was feasting on the chakra coils of Gaara. He had eaten Shikaku. The sand was underground, emotionless. All around him was nothing but devastation and torn up trees. There was no longer a forest, just a desert of sand. No one was around him as he felt his skin burn. As it healed, his skin was returning back normal from a pinkish hue. His clothes was torn to shreds. As he coughed up blood that wasn't his, the enemy had been killed. The boy who was at no fault there. He was just born at the wrong time, at the wrong place. I'm sorry, he whispered out. Your uncle really loved you. But there was no other way. Naruto! As Naruto was enveloped in a tight hug, as he saw the pink hair, Sakura held on to him tightly, like he would slip away if she let go of him. Never again, she said, crying. Never again, do you hear me? I thought you were dead in that sand cocoon. But you came out different and you attacked him. I didn't want to leave you, but Sai grabbed me and pulled me away. Please, tell me you're fine, she said. She looked at him. You hurt? You weren't hurt, are you? She said. No, he said. I'm fine. Thank Kami, she said. She hugged him once again. Thank Kami. Dickless. As Naruto looked up towards Sai, can you fight? I feel fine, said Naruto. Good. This is a Sand Team scroll. She gave it to Naruto. Sai, said Sakura. You can't just hand it over like that. And Naruto, stop acting tough. You can't be fine. Just look at you. She blushed and she jumped away. You're half naked. Sai looked confused. I thought you were assaulting him. I guess you aren't a rapist as well. Well, you did forcefully kiss him earlier. Sakura's face turned extremely red as she waved her hands wildly in front of her. It's not true. It was between teammates, she said. Well, I don't want to be kissed by you, said Sai. I fear for my purity. I wasn't going to. Hey, wait a moment. Why are you making it sound like you're innocent maiden or something? I'm the one who has listened to you spouting nonsense about dicks all day. Where are the others? Naruto asked. They ran, said Sai. Nora and Akimichi rushed towards the tower. Team 9 moved away, probably get their scrolls. Team Sand is pursuing. Team 8. And the Sand Shinobis. Naruto-kun, a tick mark came on Sakura's forehead as Karin hugged Naruto. Skank. Whore. I was so worried about you, Karin said, as Sakura kept cursing in her mind. But I saw you fight, and you're wonderful. The Sand Jinchuriki didn't stand a chance, as Naruto's face clouded at memory. But he was more sad for Shikaku's death than Gaara's though. Do not murder my brother when you do not see his corpse. We are construct of chakra. We cannot die. He and I are now one. As Naruto saw the other two, ninjas coming towards him. Sakura pulled her kunai and stepped in front of Naruto. The girl raised her hand. Calm down, she said. We don't want to fight. You just killed Gaara. It's something not even the chosen Kazekage assassins could do. We're not suicidal. We gave you the scroll, right? We're just here to get his body. Unless you're gonna eat it, she said. As her voice was filled with outright fear that Naruto liked to eat corpses. And why would you want the body back? You're a sister, right? Said Naruto. So what if I am, she said. Did you talk to him while fighting? Did he actually answer you back? No. I talked to his soul. He was swallowed in misery and despair. No one ever loved him, right? How could you love a monster, she said, that snort? He was always like, talking I'll kill you, said Kankuro. How could you love someone like that who always think about killing you? He knew, said Naruto. Shikaku told him. He wasn't holding you away for anger, and he wasn't acting like a psychopath for his own gain. If he had acted like a brother to you, your own father would have sent both of you to kill him because you would have gained his trust. So he protected you by keeping his distance. So have some respect for the dead at least, said Naruto, as he stood up fully. When you go back to your father, try to ask him if he ordered your uncle to kill Gaara. He might lie, but it's the truth. That is what led us all to this, said Naruto. So, if he has anyone to blame himself. What proof do you have, said Kankuro. I mean, you have any solid proof? He's not only our father, but the Kage of the Hidden Sand. So, Shikaku, whisper of misery, said Naruto. And your uncle's last thought was filled of dread and despair to what he had done. Temara's voice cracked as she spoke. Can we bring him home, she said. Take him and go, said Naruto. Wait out the time limit near the gate and leave. It's for the best. As she picked up the dead body of Gaara, the one who she used to talk to when he was in her mommy tummy. But here he was, dead. But her eyes hardened if her father had started this all. And if Gaara did this just keep them away to keep them safe. Gaara did not deserve this. As she clenched her fist tight. He did not deserve this. Kankuro's mind drifted back to home. What would their father say? Gaara was the jinchuriki of Ichibai, and now he was dead. The plan to invade Konoha to siege a village, it had just gone up in flames, and if their jinchuriki was already that powerful, to defeat Gaara so easily, what hope did they have? Their father had to be talked out of this, as fast as possible. Meanwhile, Kiba cursed out loudly. The arrow had pierced through her sides, as they were probably trying to sever her spine. But thanks to his movement, she had turned to avoid that fatal blow. He knew had been a lifesaver. He brought up a foliage of bugs, so they could hide in the undergrowth. He quickly removed the arrow and stopped the blood loss. His Anvu supplies have been more than enough, but his Genin supplies, not at all. Tenzo was already given the job to intervene during the exam, to surrender before the third one. He was tasked to make sure that the Hyuga heiress did not die, not to make sure she could continue her Genin career unscathed. He had a choice to make as the girl was moving around, clenching her teeth in pain. As he would have to live with his choice as Tenzo looked down. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want things to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And stay in tune for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.